Hello, my name is Bradley and I'm your host of The Internal Game. In today's video, I have some readings from the book Freedom for All by Neville Goddard. If you know anything about Neville, he refers to the Bible a lot. So he has some stuff in here, so I'm just letting you guys know. That's coming from the Bible. First thing he has is Exodus 27, and that is, "Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain." The next is Isaiah 42:8. "I am the Lord, that is my name." And then he goes on to say, "Now that you have discovered your I am, your consciousness to be God, do not claim anything to be true of yourself that you would not claim to be true of God. For in defining yourself, you are defining God. That which you are conscious of being is that which you have named God. God and man are one. You and your Father are one. Your unconditioned consciousness, or I am, and that which you are conscious of being are one. The conceiver and the conception are one. If your conception of yourself is less than that which you claim as true of God, you have robbed God. Do not take the magical name of God, the I am, in vain, or you will be held not be held guiltless. You must express all that you have claimed yourself to be. Name God by consciously defining yourself as your highest ideal." Whew, that's good stuff, ain't it? All right, so when you hear that, how have you been defining God? Like, what have you been saying is true about yourself, right? Is it ideal? Like, when you think of, even if you gave it a face, like, even if you gave God a face and was like the creator of everything, would you describe this God as how you have been describing yourself? Because you and God are one. You are God, right, in human form. So you're God experiencing himself as a human for a little while, or you are the universe experiencing itself as a human for a little while. Nonetheless, you and God are one. And whatever you claim to be true of you, you are defining God by what you claim to be true of you. And this must be expressed because you are God and you are creating your own world. So name God by consciously defining yourself as your highest ideal. Seems easy, doesn't it? All right, so ideally we say, okay, I am God. I am master of my universe. My own particular little universal focal point. I am the master of this. I am perfect. I am God. I am beautiful. I am the best at everything. I am love. I'm harmonious. Like, that would be kind of ideal, right? But if we're stuck in fearful states and we're believing doubt and kind of beating ourselves up, then we are claiming this, we are defining God. And thou shalt not take the Lord thy God's name in vain, right? Because you are God. Ideally, as in pretty much every video I've been saying for at least last little while, we want to give ourselves a chance, right? And in all honesty, to really know what this God is, like I've been saying, is that, okay, oh, even here on the top part of this page, "Be still and know that I am God." Psalm 46:1. This means that I should still the mind and know that consciousness is God. I am a big believer in getting out of mind, being still, stilling the mind, quieting the mind, feeling the consciousness that you actually are, right? Because the mind cannot understand this. The mind cannot grasp how big you actually are, how vast you actually are, right? Just like on the Tao Te Ching, where he says, the Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The Tao is like God, the all. Like the one that can be told, the one that can be talked about is not the eternal Tao, because the mind can't conceive of it. It can't make sense of how big this whole thing is. So the mind comes up with limitations. Even if it's a belief, it's still a limitation. So when we get out of the mind and be still and know that we are God, we will feel this power. Bailey, we will feel this power to be that we are, right? Because you can't think yourself into it. You can tell yourself that you're God, like I'm God, I'm God, I'm God, but you don't really know what that means if it's solely rooted in the mind. So it's a great tool to have when we're spiraling or, saying just a thought, just a thought, just a thought. It's just mine, just mine, just mine. And to be still and to know that you are God, right? Because there's safety here. All the suffering, all the chaos, all that stuff is coming from you believing thoughts, and then you get in that fearful state because it's thoughts that you don't want to happen or whatever, some perceived future event. And then you get yourself in this fearful state, and then you start doubting, and then you start like, oh no, it's not gonna happen for me. So and so's doing this again. This really sucks. This is happening. 3D smacked me in my face. Oh, what if this happens? If this happens, then this has to happen. And if that happens, that's gonna happen. So I need to try to manipulate the outside because I'm being really fearful right now. When really we should just get out of mind and be still and know that I am God. From this place of knowing that you are God, that presence within, that vast being that you feel when you get when you get your attention out of your mind for a little while, just feel yourself to be this power, this being, right? This is consciousness, your I amness. And then from there, we can claim ourselves to be anything we want from this God knowing. But until then, it's just us saying, I am God, I am God, I am God, I am God, and not really knowing what that means. Or knowing that we're the I am, but not really knowing what that means. Or saying that, oh yeah, I get it, I'm God conscious, but not really knowing what that means because it can't be explained. It can't be, not even for me, like telling you on here, it can't be explained. It can't be understood by the mind. It can only be felt. And this is something that you have to feel for yourself. So when you can be still and know that you are God, stop fearing, stop reacting, because again, it's just all stuff's like that in the mind, just fear in the mind. And you get out of mind and you be still and know that you are God, you stabilize. Whoo! Just like Eckhart said, what a liberation. What a liberation to know that I am not my mind. Then who am I? The watcher behind it, the observer of the mind. That's what you actually are, the consciousness. So, then from there, you can define yourself as your highest ideal. Why would you not? You just felt that you were God. There's nothing to fear anymore, right? And if you do start to get fearful because you start buying into this little me mind, egoic self, then you have a tool now to get back to the I am, the God consciousness that you are God. And you can get out of your mind and be still and know that you are God and keep stabilizing over and over again until it becomes more of a predominant state of being. But in these more stable states, you're going to, or at least realize it. In these realized states of who you are, by being still, you can define yourself as whatever human experience you want to have. I am love. I am, what have you, fill in the blank. Whatever experience you want to have. However you want to live this human life, because you are God. And whatever you claim to be is what you claim God is. Because you are God and you and the Father are one. And whatever you claim yourself to be, it must be expressed. So that's why you do not want to be in fearful states, forgetting that you're God, because you've got your mind all cluttered and you got your state of being all in a chaotic state because you believed all this mind clutter. Because you're going to define God as something other than it is, even though God is everything. I mean, it really is everything. But like, when you think of how you would define God, it wouldn't be in lower states, even though that he is that too. He's everything, right? Or it is everything. But like, anyway, these things must be expressed. And when you're in a fearful state, you're going to forget that this stillness within, and you're going to fall for this, even more so for this illusion out here. It feels separate from all these things because you're not going to know that you're God. Because you can be fearful and you can be chaotic in your state and be looking at the world through this lens of fear and tell yourself, I am God, I am God, I am God. And it doesn't really matter that much because you don't know what that means at that point. It has to be felt. It has to be recognized within. Can't be understood. It can't be understood by the mind. It can't be explained by words. It has to be felt, and you'll know when you feel it because you will be still. You will feel what comes with this stillness, and then from there, of that realization, you can say, "Wow, this is what it means to be God." Now, when I say I am God, I know that it's the stillness within me, and then in my human experience, my particular God self, my particular focal point of the universe, my particular little universe within the universe, I want to have these experiences, and you can go for, and then from this stable state of this realization of who you actually are, the stillness of God within, you can call whatever shot you want. You can define yourself as you can define your human self as anything that you want. And ideally, it's your highest ideal. Because why would it not be? You're God. And then you can maneuver that way. And if you start to catch into, if you start to forget a little bit, or you kind of get sidetracked and you start to buy into some thoughts, you just remind yourself, whew, be still and know that I am God. You guys hear me talk about stability a lot, because I know that what it's like to affirm that I'm God and have no idea what that even means. I mean, my mind can grasp it a little bit, like, okay, I get that I'm consciousness, and that means that everything's consciousness, so that means I'm connected to everything, and everything's connected to me, and I probably got some influence about how things go, okay, but what happens when this happens? Or what about with this person? Or what about this? And what happens if I do this? And what happens if I get fearful? That's gonna suck, right? And it's like, okay. You are everything, Bradley. Right? But you can only realize this when you get out of mind. The mind makes problems. Stillness does not. So if you found yourself in chaotic states of being, trying to remind yourself that you're God with just words and affirmations, and trying to get out of a fearful state by just claiming that you're God, and you don't really know what that means, it doesn't have much pull, if any. It's to completely disidentify a mind by doing that. That's just a thought. That's just a thought. That's just a thought. Be still and know that you are God. I like to think of God as like not freaking out. What would he freak out about? Or what would it freak out about? You know what I'm saying? What would it freak out about? Honestly, why would it be scared? Why would it think that it couldn't have what it wanted? Why would it not love just to love instead of only loving to get something in return? I actually don't think that it would, or he would, whatever you want to, whatever that. I don't think it would. I think it'd be a pretty full experience. So if I'm not being this way, I need to be still and know that I'm God, and claim myself as how I would claim God to be. And then this must be expressed. So you and your Father are one. You and consciousness are one. You are God in human form. You are the universe experiencing itself as a human for a little while, in your own little focal point. You call all the shots. And depending on how you define yourself in your own little focal point, determines what you experience, because it must be expressed. So if you get still and get out of the mind clutter and believe in every thought that you get, and get out of these little fearful states by just stabilizing by being still and knowing that you are God, because you're going to feel it. It's a knowing. It's not something you can explain. It's the best tool you'll ever have. The present moment right here. Whew. Be still. Nothing's happening. Besides right now. And then from there, call your shots. That's all I got. Love you guys. See you soon.